Welcome back to Revenge Ruby, where we dive into stories of betrayal, resilience, and the kind of justice that leaves you cheering. Today, we're unraveling the tale of Ethan, a man who had it all, until a snake in the grass tried to burn his world to ashes. But let me tell you, Ethan didn't just rise from those ashes, he lit a fire of his own. One that would expose the truth and make his betrayer pay. Buckle up, because this is a story of fury, cunning, and the sweetest kind of revenge. Ethan Parker was a rock star in the world of digital marketing. At just 32, he was the creative director at Spark Vibe, a hotshot agency in Seattle. With his sharp mind and knack for turning ideas into viral campaigns, Ethan was the guy everyone wanted on their team. His work didn't just make clients money, it won awards, filled trophy cases, and put Spark Vibe on the map. His boss, Victor Langston, was the company's charismatic COO, in his late 50s, with a silver mane and a smile that could charm a room. Victor played the mentor card hard. "Ethan, you're the future of this place," he'd say, clapping him on the shoulder after a big pitch. "Keep shining, kid." Ethan ate it up. He saw Victor as a guide, maybe even a father figure. He poured his heart into every project, staying late, tweaking concepts until they were perfect. But Ethan missed the cracks in Victor's facade. That warm smile hid a green-eyed monster. Victor had been at the top for years, but Ethan's star was rising too fast. And it stung. The praise Victor heaped on Ethan in public? It was laced with poison. Behind closed doors, Victor's ego was bruising, and he wasn't about to let some young hotshot steal his spotlight. It started small. Ethan pitched a bold campaign for Luxe Wear, a high-end fashion brand. Victor raved about it in the team meeting, calling it game-changing. But when it came time to present to the client, Victor watered it down, swapping Ethan's daring visuals for safe, predictable ones. The campaign flopped. Ethan was gutted, but Victor just shrugged. Clients aren't always ready for risky. "Ethan, you'll learn." Then came EcoPulse, a green energy startup. Ethan burned the midnight oil crafting a multi-platform strategy that was nothing short of brilliant. He sent it to Victor for feedback. Days later, Victor pitched it to the board as his brainchild, barely mentioning Ethan. When Ethan tried to speak up, Victor cut him off with a slick, "Oh, Ethan helped lay some groundwork. He's got potential." The room nodded, and Ethan felt his stomach twist. The pattern grew uglier. Ethan's ideas were borrowed, his contributions erased. Whispers started among colleagues. "Victor's grooming Ethan to take the fall," said Mia, a project manager and one of Ethan's few allies. Ethan confronted Victor, keeping it professional. "I feel like my role in these projects isn't being acknowledged," he said. Victor leaned back, feigning shock. "Ethan, you're overthinking this. I've always got your back. Maybe the pressure's getting to you?" That was the first cut. Victor had a gift for making Ethan doubt himself, painting him as paranoid. Ethan started second-guessing every move. But deep down, he knew something was rotten. Victor's sabotage kicked into high gear. He saddled Ethan with impossible projects, tight deadlines, skeleton crews, no budget. When Ethan couldn't deliver miracles, Victor would sigh in meetings. "I expected more from you, Ethan." The team's trust in Ethan waned, and he felt the chill of isolation. Then came the Nova Tech deal, a make-or-break contract with a tech giant. It was Spark Vibe's shot at the big leagues, and Ethan was tasked with leading the creative pitch. He saw it as his chance to silence the doubters. He rallied his team, and they crafted a campaign that was bold, sleek, and perfectly tailored to Novatech's vision. Ethan poured everything into it, double-checking every detail. The pitch was a home run. Novatech's CEO, Claire Nguyen, was floored. "This is exactly what we need," she said, shaking Ethan's hand. "You've got something special." Ethan left the room on cloud 9. believing he'd finally turned the tide. 2 days later, the rug was yanked out from under him. Ethan was summoned to a boardroom, where the entire C-suite sat stone-faced. CEO Richard Holt slid a folder across the table. "We lost Nova Tech," he said. Ethan's heart sank. "Why? What happened?" Holt's voice was grim. "An anonymous email tipped them off that our core concept was lifted from a small European campaign. They sent screenshots, dates, the works. They also hinted the leak came from you." Ethan's world spun. "That's impossible. This was our work, start to finish." But the evidence looked damning, too polished, too convenient. Victor, who'd been out of town, strolled in, his face a mask of fake concern. "I just heard." "Ethan, how could this happen?" The setup was flawless. A rushed internal investigation pinned the blame on Ethan. Doctored emails, forged timestamps. Victor had covered his tracks. With Nova Tech threatening legal action, the board needed a scapegoat. Ethan was fired for gross misconduct and reputational damage. His life unraveled. The industry rumor mill churned. Ethan Parker? Yeah, he got canned for stealing ideas. Job offers dried up. His savings dwindled, forcing him to sell his downtown loft and move to a cramped, leaky apartment. The betrayal wasn't just a career killer, it was personal. Victor hadn't just taken Ethan's job, he'd stolen his reputation, his confidence, his future. Ethan spiraled, haunted by the injustice, wondering if he'd ever climb out of the hole. Ethan hit rock bottom. He was ready to give up. But sometimes, in your darkest hour, a single spark can ignite a fire. For Ethan, that spark came from an unexpected encounter. On a rainy Seattle afternoon, Ethan sat in a dingy coffee shop, scrolling through rejection emails. A familiar voice broke through his haze. "Ethan, is that you?" It was Mia, his old colleague. She'd quit Spark Vibe after Ethan's exit, fed up with the toxic culture. Her eyes softened as Ethan poured out his story, the bitterness raw in his voice. Then Mia dropped a bombshell. "You're not the only one Victor screwed over," she said. "He's done this before, to Lena Torres and Jamal Reed. Both were rising stars, and Victor crushed them. They left quietly, but the pattern's clear. Lena, a brilliant strategist, had her work stolen before being pushed out on a technicality. Jamal, a data guru, was framed for a project failure. Victor wasn't just a bad boss, he was a predator, preying on talent to protect his throne." That revelation flipped a switch in Ethan. He wasn't alone. Victor wasn't invincible. The despair in his gut hardened into resolve. "Mia," he said, his voice steady for the first time in months. "Can we find them? Lena and Jamal?" Mia nodded. "I've got Lena's number. Jamal might take some digging, but I'll try." Over the next few weeks, Ethan became a man on a mission. He and Mia tracked down Lena, who was hesitant but agreed to talk after hearing Ethan's story. She had saved emails and notes that hinted at Victor's tactics. Jamal was tougher, he'd left the industry, scarred by his experience. But Ethan's persistence won him over. "I'm done running," Jamal said. "Let's nail this guy." Ethan knew raw anger wouldn't cut it. He needed a plan, calculated, airtight, and rooted in truth. This wasn't about sinking to Victor's level, it was about exposing him. The fire of fury was now a torch of justice. Ethan wasn't a victim anymore. He was a strategist, building a case to take down a giant. His revenge would be precise, professional, and undeniable. The plan had 4 pillars. 1. Gather evidence. Ethan, Mia, Lena, and Jamal combed through old emails, memos, and chat logs. Lena found a paper trail of Victor fudging project credits. Jamal uncovered a deleted file that tied Victor to a smear campaign. Ethan hired a forensic IT specialist to recover data from his old work laptop, revealing tampered files linked to the Nova Tech fiasco. 2. Recruit allies. Mia tapped her network at Spark Vibe, quietly connecting with others who'd felt Victor's wrath. A few agreed to share anonymous tips, painting a picture of a workplace ruled by fear. One junior designer even had a recording of Victor bragging about taking care of rivals. 3. Build the case. Ethan spent nights at the public library, compiling a dossier. Every claim was backed by evidence, screenshots, timestamps, witness accounts. His report was clinical. No emotion, just facts exposing Victor's pattern of theft and manipulation. 4. Target the right audience. Ethan knew HR was a dead end. Victor had allies there. Instead, he aimed higher: Richard Holt, the CEO, and Olivia Grant, a board member known for her zero-tolerance stance on ethics violations. He also prepped a backup plan, leaking the story to a reputable investigative outlet if the company stonewalled. While plotting, Ethan rebuilt himself. He took freelance gigs, blogged about marketing trends, and networked with old contacts. He wasn't just fighting Victor, he was reclaiming his life. The day he sent the dossier, Ethan's hands shook. He emailed Holt and Grant, attaching the evidence, and mailed hard copies for good measure. Then he waited, the silence deafening. A week later, his phone rang. It was Grant's assistant, summoning him to her office. Olivia Grant was all business, her desk stacked with Ethan's files. "These are serious allegations," she said. "If true, they're unacceptable." Grant had already ordered an independent audit, bypassing Victor's influence. The investigation was swift and brutal. Ethan's evidence held up, corroborated by Lena, Jamal, and others. The Nova Tech email? Traced to a VPN linked to Victor's home network. The truth was undeniable. Victor was fired within days, his reputation in tatters. The news rocked Spark Vibe. Holt called Ethan personally, offering an apology, a hefty settlement, and a senior role. Ethan declined the job. He'd outgrown Spark Vibe. The settlement, though, he accepted, a formal acknowledgement of the wrong done to him. Victor Langston lost everything: his title, his legacy, his power. But Ethan? He was just getting started. With the settlement, Ethan launched Ignite Creative, his own agency. His talent, paired with his story of resilience, drew clients like moths to a flame. He built a team where ideas were celebrated, not stolen, and his company thrived. Ethan wasn't just successful, he was fulfilled. This isn't just a revenge story. It's a masterclass in grit and justice. Here's what Ethan taught us. Truth wins. Lies can hide for a while, but the truth always finds a way. Stay relentless in seeking it. Never quit. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's where you find the strength to rebuild. Integrity is power. Ethan fought with facts, not dirty tricks. That's real victory. Smart revenge satisfies. A calculated plan beats impulsive rage every time. Rebuild bigger. Ethan didn't just take down Victor, he built a better future. Trials birth opportunities. The worst moments can lead to the best chapters. Ethan turned his fury into a beacon of justice. He didn't just rewrite his story, he owned it. Thanks for joining us on Revenge Ruby. Like, share, and subscribe for more tales of triumph. And remember, no matter what life throws at you, you've got the spark to rise. See you next time.